Good afternoon, friends. Today in the transfer of the Crimean Tatar food, Rustam Dervish passed the baton to me for cooking the Crimean Tatar dish. This dish is rightfully considered by many peoples in the world as their own. But it has a special relation to the Crimean Tatars. My name is Ali Mustafiv, and today we will cook shish kebab. For this we need fresh lamb. I took some mutton fat to put it between pieces of meat, spices. Everything is very simple. Zira, black pepper, onion and, of course, the fire that I have already kindled. But to him, by the way, you need to throw a little firewood. Today I want to show you an express recipe. Naturally, the onion is inseparable from the marinating part in kebabs. But usually they crumble it and marinate the kebab, put it there for a long time for 5-6 hours. We have field conditions, there is no such possibility. We will extract onion juice from an onion. To do this, I sprinkled it finely on the roof with salt, and then squeezed the juice out of it. Of course, there is a lot of barbecue pickling in the world, and many have onions. But there are Turkish marinades that do not imply the presence of onions at all. There are marinades on milk, on kefir, on various other drinks that we do not drink. But in our case, it is an onion, which will soften the meat for us more quickly than an onion, which we cut into small rings. We always use this method with friends when we do it at home. Because when you want to quickly eat barbecue in 5-6 hours, no one wants to wait. Most likely, I heard it somewhere from someone, or maybe I saw it somewhere. Now I can't remember. I would like it to be my little secret. Cuts the onion as much as possible so that the fraction is smaller and it is easier to squeeze. I even, probably, most likely, will use 2 knives, as minced meat is cut in order to chop it well. Approximately like this. One could, of course, not experiment with onions, but make fresh meat, as they did before, as shepherds and warriors did in the old days, who most likely did not have such an opportunity, even with 2 knives to chop onions on some kind of board. They just took the meat, cut it off the carcass, chopped it into small pieces and fried it, for example, on skewers, or on something else. And, in fact, as some historians think, the name skewers came about. In my opinion, grinding is coming to an end. I did it all the same with 2 knives. The method is very old and very effective. Cuts not only meat but also onions. We got such small little cubes, which now, with the help of salt, will give us juice into a cup. By the way, about the cup. We use earthenware and copper utensils, which Rustam Dervish kindly left us. Thank you. We remove the onion in a cup, salt it. Salt will help us quickly pick up the juice from the onion. Mix and leave for a while. This is how the onion gives up its juice, throws up firewood. Let's move on to the meat. Mutton, and, of course, her back. By the way, there are 3 or 4 types of muscles in it, and each of them has a certain even taste and color. I'll show you more. We cut the bottom of the leg first. Why lamb? Crimean Tatars have been keeping sheep for a long time. Lambs are, as it were, an integral part of the economy. Although the barbecue can be made from whatever you want. Shish kebab can be made from chicken, from beef quails. But all the same, the best barbecue is obtained from lamb. From a young lamb. And by the way, we made sure that we had just such a one. Speaking of what you can do with barbecue from everything, we are smoothly approaching why a shish kebab is called a shish kebab. It is called barbecue not because it is fried on fire, but only because it has a special way of cooking. Probably, people 1 million years ago, when they hunted a mammoth or a deer, they, without suspecting it, cut off a piece of meat from the carcass and put on a skewer to cook barbecue. But today we have more civilized methods and other animals. So the barbecue, as many historians think, got its name from the skewer on which it is cooked. In the Crimean Tatar language shish, this is a skewer. Therefore, among many Turkic peoples, shish kebab is called shish kebab, that is, kebab, which is cooked on a spit and generally on a spit. You can fry everything. Everything that you put on a skewer, it will be a barbecue. The butcher can ask us, but if it is in the Tatar language, what is the meat for sherpa, or maybe for another dish, and he will select the meat for you. That is, meat for shish, meat for shish. That is meat for barbecue. So, in the meantime, we are butchering a leg of lamb for a person, we will say, who does not do this every day. This well. In my opinion, the cutting has come to an end, and we got these pieces of meat here. I would like to draw your attention to who will cut the leg for the first time. There is such a moment in the hind leg, the tendon, which is located between the two muscles, not even a tendon, but a lymph node. We must remove it. It is not edible. This is how we remove it, and on the fault where it is located, two muscles are connected. Here we have removed an unnecessary detail from our future barbecue. And then we will chop finely. Well, pickling. Yes, of course. There are different ones. A lot of people cook barbecue in different ways, even in our environment, not to mention in other countries and other cultures, other cuisines. But initially, most likely, barbecue acquired its origin in a simple way by placing a piece of meat on a skewer and cooking on fire. Perhaps someone used salt. But I heard, if children's books didn't lie to me, that back in very ancient times, instead of salt, people used even a haul from a fire, so that the meat was, well, a little spicy. Now cooks have a lot of time in the kitchen, and they, naturally, bother with meat more difficult. They marinate it there for days, and even for several days. To be honest, we, too, when we want to quickly get a barbecue, go to the stores known to us that are in our city, buy ready-made marinated meat, and eat barbecue in half an hour, because the cooks have already done everything before us. But our case is a marching case. He is completely different. We do express pickling by adding only onion juice and a few spices. By the way, the juice is already ready, and we will use it soon. To do this, we need to cut all the meat into small pieces, which I will do now. Thus, we cut our meat into small pieces. Many consider this dish to be festive. But in fact, this is a dish of shepherds, hunters, warriors. These are the people who needed to eat very quickly, very nutritiously, so that it would last for a long time. And, of course, in their conditions, in the fields, on the battlefields, in the valleys, in the fields there were not so many conditions, so many ingredients, and people cooked very simply, fresh meat, salt and skewer. We're without him. We cut the meat preferably in the same pieces, the same, even in geometry. This is to ensure that the meat is beautifully seated on the skewer. Of course, if they are different in size or geometry, it is also fried. But aesthetics should be in everything. Well, it seems that we cut our meat into pieces of approximately this size. We did not remove the film. We did not clean the veins inside, because our lamb was very young. The leg was very young. All this is cooked on a fire, and everything will be edible so that our barbecue is juicier. We will use fat. Sheep fat has a very wide range of uses in Oriental cuisine. It is smoked, salted, and felled. It is added to many dishes. In our case, we will make layers between the meat. To do this, I will cut it into such small layers, and then I will cut it into the same pieces as the pieces for a kebab of the same size. It, of course, will be 2 times less than meat, but the effect of this will be great. Well, fat, we also cut it. The meat is almost ready for us. Now we get to the marinade. We will salt and pepper and try to use the onion juice, which, I hope, has already appeared at the bottom. I take such a transparent cup so that you can see everything that is happening inside of us and put our ingredients there. They move to everything inside. Put the meat along with the fat. Now it remains to sprinkle with spices and salt. I will use zira first, grind it in my hands, as is customary in field conditions. So the fraction is not very large in small pieces. Zira, even when they are already on the finished meat, they give their inimitable taste effect. Well, I think so much will be enough. I will add a little more to be sure, so that it tastes better. Coriander. Where without him? This is also an integral part of the barbecue. If you have it, use it. Of course it tastes good. Whoever can, I put a lot. Black pepper. And let's see what we have with our juice. See, friends, the onion stood and the salt helped him give up his juice. Well, this is the amount of juice. I still crushed it all with my hands beforehand. This is the amount of juice we received. Friends, when the onion has already given its last juice, we must salt the marinade, but do not forget that we have already salted the onion. Therefore, this time we put less salt. Approximately this much, and carefully now we mix our marinade. At the end we salted it. We also have black pepper here, we have zira here, and we have kinza. By the way, many people don't like kinza, but they do like coriander. I will tell you a secret, this is the same plant. Leave the meat to rest. The more the better, of course. But in our case, the bao will do its job very quickly. I think 20 minutes is enough. Let's go see the fire. Here are my friends. This gray color on the coals characterizes the fact that it is already ready. And if we rake it a little like this, we will see that the coals are completely ready, completely burnt. This charcoal is ready to be put on and grilled. In order to string, we use this stainless steel skewer. Previously, it could have been wooden twigs. By the way, we use twigs in field conditions. I even have such a story. I don't remember exactly who told it to me, my father or one of my relatives. But the bottom line is that after moving to the Crimea, and we arrived in 1975, after a while my father went to the wedding in Uzbekistan. And before going to the Crimean Pass, he cut business twigs and made a skewer out of them. With these skewers, he went to Uzbekistan for a wedding. And after the wedding, when they were already preparing barbecue at home, eyewitnesses say that there were a lot of people who wanted to try barbecue on a skewer, which was brought from the Crimea, and even more so from the Crimean Pass, and many of whom did not get the barbecue. They just took 1 or 2 skewers home to cook barbecue at home. This is how symbolic a skewer can be. And we are planning further meat pieces, all approximately the same, even. We lay fat through every 2 or 3 pieces of meat. Our fat will melt on fire. The fat will drip onto the coals and the meat will be roasted and smoked at the same time. This is how we press all the pieces so that they are like soldiers. Everything is even. Nothing hangs anywhere, so that nothing burns later. Well, 6 sticks are ready. Well, that's how it happened. We look at our fire. What have we got here? The fire is in full swing. We now have to level the surface of the brazier and wave it into the ashes from the coals. Give them a second wind, and you can start frying. Which is exactly what I'm going to do now. The heat is very good. We blow off the ashes. The fire is in full swing. We start frying. It's about time. We lay out our barbecue over the coals. Soon you will begin to publish. Such crackling and hissing is very pleasant. This means that the process has begun. Someone calls him a khorovats. Armenians, Georgians have a different name. He is called. Azerbaijanis have kebabs. Turks have shish kebabs. And he found only his world recognition and name in the word barbecue in Crimean Tatar. And I'm pleased with that. I think you are friends too. We will turn over often, so that the juice from the meat does not have time to flow away and drip onto the coals. From buying meat in the market to how we put the barbecue on the grill. The most crucial moment is not to miss it here, not to dry it. And at the same time, so that it is fried and juicy. The fat was already covered with such a pink, characteristic crust and began to drip onto the coals. Now a bluish, thick smoke will rise from how the fat burns, and at the same time we are smoking, all our spices are visible on top of them, pepper and others. Often turn over friends, do not let the meat burn and dry out. If we have a stronger fire somewhere, we swap sticks so that those that we have on low fire switch to a stronger flame. Someone, perhaps, will say that there is no side dish. What kind of side dish? And my assistants have already thought about it. We will bake vegetables. Eggplant, tomato, pepper. You can't imagine better. Here we have the gray smoke, which I spoke about. This is already fat, burning down to smoke our barbecue. Crimean Tatars have a lot of kebab options. Tash kebab is when kebab is cooked on a hot stone. Furun kebab is when it is baked in special ovens. Also have tava kebab. This is where the meat is cooked in a frying pan or in special pots. There is even hor kebab. This is meat that is placed on open coals and cooked almost on coals. The kazan kebab has become the most popular because it is cooked a little easier in the sense that you do not need to bother with complaints. The quality of the fire, it is difficult to spoil it. That is, this is meat that is cooked in a cauldron with potatoes. It can be strongly fried. It can be stewed. There are already a lot of options out there. But here is our barbecue, almost ready. Then we will already dry it, and the vegetables are already reaching. The eggplant has already burst with a crust, the tomato too. Yes, and the pepper is almost reaching. This is our hot pepper for special lovers. So, friends, this crucial moment has come when our barbecue is ready. It can be removed from Mongol. To do this, I take a tray, kindly provided by my friend Rustam. Dervish, and I spread our barbecue on it. Our kebab is ready. How long have I been waiting for this moment? Well, not in order to eat barbecue, but to visit once again some beautiful place in your homeland, and also to be able to cook and eat a delicious dish. This is generally a dream. The kebab turned out to be very cool. I recommend you, friends. There are a lot of places in Crimea. We travel somewhere abroad. We strive to see something new. But in our homeland, there are so many beautiful places not only to cook, just to come, contemplate, see, enjoy. Bon appetit!